Before you sleep tonight, God wants you to hear this. This is not a coincidence. God knew you would be here in this exact moment. Maybe today felt heavier than usual. Maybe your mind has not been quiet. For a long time, you tried to stay strong, but some battles are invisible to everyone else. The pressure you carry, the thoughts that keep returning, the weight you never talk about. God saw every moment of it. He knows how tired you feel. He knows what your heart has been holding. He knows what you have been trying to handle alone. And tonight, you don't have to carry everything by yourself. Because, even in silence, God is already working in your life. God sees you, even in the moments when you feel unnoticed. He sees the effort you make every day, even when nobody says anything. He sees the strength it takes just to keep going, when everything feels heavy inside. There are things you carry that no one else fully understands. Thoughts you don't always share, worries you try to silence, questions you keep deep in your heart. Sometimes, you smile on the outside, while inside, you are asking God for help without even saying the words. And even then, He hears you. God doesn't only see your victories, He also sees your struggles, your doubts, the moments when your faith feels small. He understands the pressure you feel, the uncertainty, the quiet battles that follow you through the day. Nothing about your life is invisible to Him. Every tear, every silent prayer, every moment you felt overwhelmed, God was there, even when it didn't feel obvious, even when the answers didn't come right away. God has not lost sight of you, not for a single moment, and He is closer than you think, even right now. There are moments in life when the path ahead feels unclear. You try to move forward, but you are not always sure which direction is right. You think about the future, and instead of peace, you feel pressure. You want clarity, but everything feels uncertain. Sometimes you ask God for a sign, but the answer doesn't come as quickly as you hoped. And in those moments, it is easy to wonder if you were alone, if you missed something, if you made a wrong turn somewhere along the way. But feeling lost does not mean God has lost you. Even when you cannot see the full path, God still sees every step. Even when the road feels confusing, He is already guiding your direction in ways you may not realize yet. You are not forgotten. You are not without purpose. Sometimes God does His deepest work in seasons when everything feels uncertain, because even when you feel lost, you are still being led. And even when the path is not clear, God is already preparing what comes next. Some of the hardest battles you fight are the ones nobody else can see. The moments when your mind feels overwhelmed, but you still try to appear calm. The days when everything feels normal on the outside, while inside, you are carrying more than you can explain. There are thoughts that come quietly, bringing doubt, bringing fear, bringing questions that feel heavy. Sometimes, you feel pressure to have everything together, even when your heart feels tired. And in those silent battles, it can feel isolating, but God understands what others cannot see. He sees the effort it takes just to stay strong. He sees the courage it takes to keep moving forward, even when you feel drained. Nothing about your struggle is hidden from Him. Even when you don't have the perfect words to pray, God understands what your heart is trying to say. He is not distant from your pain. He is present in the middle of it. And even in battles that feel silent, you are never fighting alone, because God stands with you, even in the moments nobody else notices. Even when nothing seems to change, God is still working. There are moments when progress feels invisible. You try, you hope, you pray, but everything around you seems the same. It can feel discouraging, wondering if anything is truly moving forward. But just because you cannot see the change does not mean nothing is happening. God often works in ways that are quiet, deep, and beyond what we can immediately understand. While you are waiting, He is preparing. While you are questioning, He is aligning things in ways you cannot yet see. Some answers take time, because God is not only changing circumstances, He is strengthening you in the process. Even in seasons that feel still, something meaningful is unfolding. Every moment of patience, every moment of trust, is part of something bigger than what you see today. God is never inactive in your life. Even now, He is opening doors, creating connections, removing things that are not meant for you. And at the right time, you will understand why the waiting was necessary. Because even when life feels paused, God is still moving your story forward. There is a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that remains. Even when life feels uncertain, God's presence is not limited by what is happening around you. Even when situations feel unstable, He remains constant. You may not always feel strong, you may not always feel confident, but your strength does not come from having everything figured out. It comes from knowing that you are not alone. God walks with you through every moment, through decisions that feel difficult, through seasons that feel unfamiliar, through days when your heart feels restless. His presence brings a calm that the world cannot give. Even when your thoughts feel loud, God's peace can quiet the noise inside. Even when fear tries to take control, His presence reminds you that you are still held. You do not have to solve everything tonight. You do not have to carry every answer right now. Sometimes peace begins when you allow yourself to trust that God is already holding what you cannot control. And when you place your trust in Him, your heart slowly remembers how to rest. Because you were never meant to walk through life alone. God has been beside you the entire time. Fear can feel very convincing. It can make problems seem bigger and make the future feel uncertain. Sometimes fear speaks loudly in your thoughts, telling you that something might go wrong, that things may not work out, that you are not ready or not strong enough. But fear does not know your future. God does. Fear focuses on what could fail. God sees what can still grow. Fear reminds you of what you cannot control. God reminds you that you do not have to control everything. You were never meant to carry the weight of every outcome alone. Some things are not yours to solve tonight. Some answers will come with time. Some doors will open exactly when they need to. God's protection does not depend on how confident you feel. His guidance does not depend on how certain the path looks right now. Even when your thoughts feel restless, you can slowly begin to release the fear. Not because everything is already clear, but because God is already present in what is still unknown. And when fear loosens its grip, your heart begins to remember that you are safe in God's hands. God, you know every thought that has been heavy on this heart. You see the questions, the worries, the silent moments that felt overwhelming. Right now, I ask you to bring peace where there has been tension. Bring clarity where there has been confusion. Bring calm where the mind has felt restless. Strengthen the heart that feels tired. Remind the soul that it is not alone. Lord, when the path feels uncertain, bring confidence that you are still guiding every step. When fear tries to return, replace it with trust. When doubt becomes loud, let your truth speak louder. Help this heart release what it was never meant to carry alone. Give patience for the process, and faith for what is not yet visible. Even in moments of waiting, remind the soul that you are still working. Let your presence bring comfort tonight. Let your peace settle deeply, beyond worries, beyond overthinking, beyond fear. Because with you, there is always hope. And with you, there is always a way forward. Life does not always unfold as quickly as we hope. There are seasons when progress feels slow, when answers take longer than expected, when the direction ahead is still forming. In those moments, it can be difficult to stay patient. But God's timing is not random. Every season has a purpose, even the ones that feel unclear. Sometimes growth happens quietly, beneath the surface. Long before it becomes visible, God sees the full picture, even when you can only see a small part. What feels like delay may actually be preparation. What feels uncertain may be guiding you somewhere better than you imagine. Trust does not mean having every answer right now. Trust means believing that God is still leading, even when the path is still unfolding. Step by step, He is shaping something meaningful in your life. Nothing that is meant for you will pass you by. Nothing that God is building will be lost. Even when progress feels slow, your story is still moving forward. Because when God is guiding your path, every step, even the small ones, has purpose. And with time, clarity often comes exactly when it is needed most. Every moment you have lived, every challenge, every season has shaped something meaningful within you. Even experiences that felt confusing, even moments that felt difficult, can become part of a greater purpose. God does not waste the chapters of your life. He can use every situation to grow strength, wisdom, compassion, and faith. Sometimes purpose is not immediately visible. Sometimes meaning becomes clear only after time has passed. But God sees the direction of your life, even when you are still discovering it. Nothing you have gone through is without value. Even the moments that tested your patience, even the situations that made you stronger than you expected. God can turn uncertainty into clarity. He can turn difficulty into growth. He can turn waiting into preparation for something greater. Your story is still unfolding. Your future is still being written. And what God is building in your life is not without intention, because your life carries meaning far beyond what you can currently see. And with God guiding your steps, purpose is never out of reach. Take a moment and allow this peace to stay with you. You do not have to have everything figured out tonight. God is still guiding your steps, even when the path feels quiet. Whatever you are carrying right now, you do not have to carry it alone. God's presence remains with you through every question, every challenge, every new beginning. If this message brought you comfort, you can return to it whenever your heart needs peace again. And if you feel that someone else needs this reminder, you can share it so they know they are not alone either. Rest tonight, knowing that God is still working in your life. And when you are ready, there are more messages here to strengthen your faith and bring peace to your heart.